nothing, letting go today. Take my time, no need for rushing. The broken pieces of my soul I'm putting back to make me whole. Living in this world so cold, forge a path, no longer doing what
Little
I'm
confused, I was growing up, nobody around, daddy working and my mama left. I held it down, hold this pain underneath the liquor. Hope it'll drown, I've been lost for a minute now. I can't be found, if you mention Alabama, mention my name with it. My trigger finger itching, bitches better mind they business. Hey, time is money, better know it, yeah, that time is ticking. Might bust down a roller just to see them diamonds hitting. All my partners on the block out there trying to get a meal. Job been hot to 96, yeah, you best believe I'm still shit. Don't get it how you live, it's somebody else it will. Ain't no food up in the fridge and your mama tell you deal with them covers in this cold, plus they eat a bro. The blow up mattress got a hole, you can see the flow. And we ain't talking to them bold, they don't need to know. Holding my feelings till I blow, I can't let them go. I done planted so many seeds, never see them grow. So many snakes off in the weeds, man, I need to mow. I don't know who I can believe, I don't tell a soul. Praying God, don't tell them angels to keep it close.
All I do is fly away, holding on, ain't doing nothing, letting go today. Take my time, no need for rushing. The broken pieces of my soul I'm putting back to make me whole. Living in this world so cold, forge a path, no longer doing what I do is fly away, holding on, ain't doing nothing, letting go today. Take my time, no need for rushing. The broken pieces of my soul I'm putting back to make me whole. Living in this world so cold, forge a path, no longer doing
I've been trying to hold on, I ain't got nothing left. Yeah, I've been trying to stay strong, but I don't trust myself. I had a heart full of love, but that shit must have left. So I've been chasing money till I'm out of fucking breath. Hey, one of these days, they gon' run up on me with decay. Take me away, ain't no love, all I know is pain. Gave a few bitches all I had, they ain't do the same. Told me forever, took the umbrella, left me in the rain. I hit my knee and asked the Lord, help me fly away. Been sipping that lean, you think I'm sleep, but I'm wide awake. Tell you I'm straight, I'm probably geek, no it's not okay. Cheap shapes cover my cheek, tryna hide the pain. Take me away.
Take me away from all the pain. Take me away from the storms of life, I can't stand the rain. Yeah, take me away from all the pain. Take me away from the storms of life, I can't stand the rain. I can't stand the pain. Yeah. La da da da.
All I wanna do is fly away, holding on, ain't doing nothing, letting go today. Take my time, no need for rushing. The broken pieces of my soul I'm putting back to make me whole. Living in this world so cold, forge a path, no longer doing what I'm told.
I still remember the lies, I still remember the time that we shared. Still remember the day you said forever, now I look around and ain't nobody there. I still remember we tried, I still remember you lied. Oh, I still remember we'd break up, you tell me you hate me. The next day we'd make up and you would be fine. Wish I could go back to the day we didn't fight about nothing, no, we was just buddies. Oh, I know this life is a bitch and we live and we die, but I still remember that you used to love me. I lay in my bed and yeah, I'm wide awake. I still remember your face, I still remember you walk in the room and your smile would light up the whole place, take my breath away. I still remember the day that I told you I needed some space, stuck in my way. Now I'm alone and I ain't talked to no one today. I'm going fucking insane. Oh, I throw my heart away, I won't be needing it. I'm probably never gonna change. I swear I'm fed up, I can't keep my head up, cause the love that I had didn't bring nothing but pain.
It's just memories and pain, and I'm sitting here slowly going insane. Faded image of our love filling my brain, and I'm alone again with no one to...
270, more than enough to become the 44th President of the United States. He will be the first African-American President of the United States.
I've been broke all my life, but I kept hope all them nights. You see business in my city? Yeah, they closed all them twice. I was just riding down Salem on them damn potholes. I can't drive. I know y'all can fix it faster, but I know y'all won't try. Nobody care about us, and that's wrong vote. Voted for Obama back in 2012, I remember that's when I had hope. He was saying, yes, we can, and everybody got less food stamps. When I turned 21, I was still broke, I'd never vote again. I don't think I ever had a president make my life better. Did it all on my own, ain't no politician ever do a nice gesture. I don't even know the man's name, I ain't never seen him one time ever. Tell me how she gonna help the city. What I'm supposed to do, write letters? What I'm supposed to do, blame Trump? He ain't never really gave a ain't nobody raised minimum wage. None of these jobs pay enough. I think they just wanna keep us broke, cause they ain't putting nothing in place for us. This how all my people feel, but we gotta learn. We complain enough, let me change it up. Everything I just said, everybody I know think the same way. See, they don't wanna see us vote, and we never do, so we see the same thing. But all our votes really do count, and they'll never really let us show. So now I'm finna break it down, cause if I don't, you'll probably never know. First thing first, you know back in middle school when they taught us, it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor, or the governor, and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws, they just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch, yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones write how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all. So the Congress or the State House, that's legislative, they make laws. So what we want from the president is what they do. Okay, y'all? See, they election every 2 years, but we don't ever even go to those. The Congress, they can raise minimum wage, but we ain't even really know it though. So you know how back in 08, when we all voted for Obama, we was all supposed to go back in 2010 and vote for the Congress. Cause they the ones make child support laws, they the ones choose if your kids at school get to eat steak or corn dogs. The State House make the court calls. So if the country failed, then you can't say it's them, it's your fault. Cause y'all ain't know to vote for Congress members that was for y'all. And they don't gotta leave after 4 years, we just let them sit. See, they don't wanna tell you this, they want you to focus on the president. Now the third branch is the judicial, that's justice. They the reason why John Crawford and Trayvon had justice. So when Meek Mill got locked up, it's for popping willies, we blame the judge and not the city when they let her get voted in, cause they ain't know who to vote against. Imagine life on the other side. Roads better, schools better, everybody get their license back, grocery store food better, custody of your kids back, homeless people get new shelters. If we gon' fix the U.S., we gotta start with them 2 letters, me and you. Somebody told us that the government wanna keep us broke, but the only reason why those people in the government is cause we ain't vote. And I ain't talking about the president, I'm talking about the ones we ain't know. See, they was gonna try to keep it low, but it's gonna hurt them when they see the polls.
Every time you stay home, someone is making a decision about you. Making decisions about the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food your kids eat, and how much money you bring home every 2 weeks. So every time you sit out an election, every time you don't show up because you think it doesn't matter, someone else is happy that you didn't show up, so they can make that decision for you. Vote.
I know what you're thinking. Is this the booth, drafting the circuits, 3-way theater, or the Kevin Jackson show? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I kinda lost track myself here on Ubazoo.com. So, do you feel lucky, punk?
It's been 10 days since George Floyd was brutally murdered.
How many times do we need to ask you to listen to your players?
What will it take
for one of us to be murdered by police brutality?
What if I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd?
What if I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd? If I was George Floyd?
I am George Floyd.
I am Breonna Taylor.
I am Ahmaud Arbery. I am Eric Garner.
I am Tamir Rice.
I am Trayvon Martin.
I am Walter Scott.
I am Michael Brown Jr.
I am Samuel Du Bois.
I am Frank Smart.
I'm Philip White.
I am Jordan Baker.
We will not be silenced.
We assert our right to peacefully protest. It shouldn't take this long to admit. So, on behalf of the National Football League,
This is what we, the players,
would like to hear you state.
we, the National Football League,
condemn racism and the systematic oppression of black people.
we, the National Football League,
Admit wrong and silencing our players from peacefully protesting.
we, the National Football League,
Believe Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
The booth. I share my world within the booth. The booth. This is all I do within the booth. The booth. A set of headphones, one microphone, and yo, hold the phone, I'm in the booth. The booth. I share my world within the booth. The booth. This is all I do within the booth. The booth. I got one microphone, flow into the zone. Yeah, I ain't the load me up, oxygen. I don't care, box me in, cause the booth got me in this brand new zone. Plug me in, turn it up, blitz gon' burn it up. Might start melting down the soundproof phone. It's one way, so it's one mode. Booth on the bus whenever I'm on the road. Lock in for days and anything goes. It's been 7 days, the same clothes. Still flowing for the dudes sitting outside on the blocks in the booth, but I'm spitting outside of the box. I know where the digits at, where the lyrics at. I ain't never losing, so I ain't gotta get it back. Got commercial music, but I still know how to spit it rap. I'm like the trees on my boots, I grew from the roots. If I'm lying, I'm flying, but I'm the truth. Only one way, my whole belong on. I'm underground in the booth. The booth. I share my world, but in the booth. The booth. This is all I do when in the booth. The booth. I got a set of headphones and one microphone. And yo, hold the phone, I'm in the booth. The booth. I share my world, but in the booth. The booth. This is all I do when in the booth. The booth. I got one microphone. I'm in the zone.
Was he African?
African.
No. He was American, and he was like you.
Can you guys hear me now? Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me now? If you guys can hear me in the chat, let me know if you can hear me, because it looks like it's going out, but I want to just make sure you guys are hearing me okay. All right. What's up, Felicia? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All set. It's your boy, Sinister One, broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are listening to The Booth, and we are trying to set the level for all the other podcasters out there. whole new setup. Sorry about that. Just gonna have to work on one of my settings and make sure that that's saved in my profile. But we're here broadcasting live from the City of Champions, and hoping that you guys like some of these intros before we came into the show tonight. NFL had did a powerful video. I'm going to talk about that into the show, but I want to get right into my topics of the night. If you want to call into the conversation live, you can call into the show at 508-251-5722. Before the show went live, you guys saw a video by a rapper called YelloPain's, My Vote Don't Count. And I needed that video to go out to all of the people in my community, the black people in my community, because they always talk about their vote don't count, and their vote does count. And he breaks it down for you. He explains it in the video, how your vote counts, how we voted Obama in, but then nobody voted anybody for Congress in, and he ended up getting stuck filibustering everything, which set everybody back. And this is when they turn around and they say, well, he was a bad president. He didn't get nothing done for black people. No, he didn't get nothing done for black people. Congress didn't get nothing done for the black people during the time Obama was there, because the Republicans held him up with everything he tried to put through. So for those of you who don't know, you need to vote. Need to vote. Also, I got to thank my guests from last week's show, Ken Diesenhof, R Squared, holding it down on the booth last week. We talked about a lot of stuff, good stuff. We talked about the whole thing that went on in Washington, D.C., and I'm going to get into that also tonight. So I'm going to get right into the news booth, people, and I see you out there. I see you waving. What's up, Shannon Amato? I see you, Paul Forrest. What's going on? I see my son out there, Terrell Hayes. I see Tyreek Hayes. I see Vianna Marie out there. I see Carrie Lynn Blake out there. I see Van Bates out there holding it down. John A. Hayes holding it down. What's up, guys? So first of all, I got to get into the news booth. Breaking news. Earlier today, actually last night around 8 o'clock p.m., Grace Adorno had left her home at around 8 o'clock, so they put out an alert for her. It wasn't an Amber Alert, but they put out a missing person report out there. She was 8 years old. She walked out of her house on Ames St in Brockton. She was actually found this afternoon about 1 o'clock. Brockton police had found her. They actually didn't find her. What happened was little Grace had left the house at 8 o'clock last night, and she actually was at the house still. She was asleep and hid under the porch, and she had been under the porch the whole time. Now, I kind of chuckled, because as a kid, I know if I was younger and I hid under the porch, and if my dad had called the cops and my mom, rest her soul, my mom would have been 74 today. That's why you saw her picture at the beginning of the show. So rest in peace, my mother. But I know if I had did something like that and had the cops come and the news notified and stuff, I would have wanted to leave with the cops. I'm just being real with you all. I would have left with I would have been, look, I'm good, but you got to take me with you, because the ass whooping that's coming for me putting this out there like that is coming. So you all need to save me. You all need to take me to the station or something, feed me some, but you got to get me out of here, because this is about to go down. And I'm just letting you know, I'm glad she was returned. 8 years old. She actually attended the Downey School with my stepson, Ryan Beeson. And hopefully her family and her are enjoying her time back together. I know it was probably a scary, scary, scary moment. And I'm glad I was able to update this story and provide you guys with a good ending, instead of her either still being missing or being worse on the other side. In Boston, Mayor Walsh says he will look into reallocating funding to the Boston Police Department. Now, I put up a post earlier this week in regards to these two words going around. We're seeing a lot of words like defunding police departments across America. And don't get it twisted, people, because some of y'all are all for it. Some of y'all are talking about, yeah, let's defund the police departments. Let's disband the police departments. Look, you got to look at the bigger picture. As I had my man Mike Vardabedian on, business rep for Local 264 Union, and we discussed automation and things that are taking away jobs. When you start throwing around that word disbanding, and I'm going to just tell you right now, during COVID-19, we've heard this word disbanding quite a bit. We've heard this disbanding about police departments. We've heard this word disbanding about schools, because schools are now doing a lot of online schooling and homeschooling. So now people are thinking about, well, you know what? Maybe we don't need to spend all this budget on brick and mortar schools. We can now maybe have more people do schooling from home, and have more people do schooling online, and blah, 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 and less teachers. Maybe we can just disband some of that funding for the schools. They're talking about disbanding state government medical facilities and things like that. Look, for me, when I hear the word disbanding, All it is another glorified word for privatization. And that's what you're looking at. And a great example of disbanding police departments or putting them to an end and rolling funding back. Think of the movie RoboCop. And the movie RoboCop, they actually took away funding from the police. They were taking away funding from the police department because they couldn't afford the overtime. They couldn't afford the pensions in RoboCop. So what they did was they outsourced and privatized the policing of the city to OCP, which was a corporate company. And we all know what happened with RoboCop. We all know what happened with the movie RoboCop and how it went down. Not a good look. So when you hear this word disbanding, or you hear this word about defunding these police departments and other things, think about this, people. If you go around and disband the police union, and I heard people saying, let's disband the postal service. You disband the postal service. You disband the teachers unions. And now you've got automation taking away jobs from commercial workers and factory workers. Guess what you've pretty much done? You've pretty much eliminated the top 5 lobbying unions out there. From the Teamsters to the policemen's union to the nurses union to the teachers union. You defund all that stuff. You disband all that stuff. Not a good look. People, pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on in your government. That's why I shared this video about voting. Because everybody all jumps on the bandwagon, and then when everybody's out of a job, you take away those top 5 unions. You take away those top 5 unions, and guess what, people? You've eliminated probably 1/5 of your middle class. No more pensions. Done. And if you have no more middle class, the high class is up here, and the low class is way down here, and there's no middle class, as Mike Vadibinian discussed. So pay attention, people. Don't be jumping on this disband the police and disband the USPS and all this other stuff, because you might be biting off more than you can chew. Schools are looking at a fall reopening. Masks will be required when kids go back to school. That's just going to be another added expense because the schools aren't going to be able to. The schools can barely supply stuff now. You think the schools are going to supply masks for your kids every day? Nope. Get ready, people. It's going to hit you in the pocket. Your kids are going to have masks in school, it's saying. Class sizes are limited to 10 per class. Now, guess what? That may work in Wellesley. That may work in Newton. That may work in Quincy. That may work in Norwell. But guess what? 10 kids per class ain't going to work in the city of Brockton. Why? Because we already have 30 kids to 32 kids per classroom. So now the word is that they might possibly split the weeks up that the kids are going to go to school. Even if you split them going every other week, it's 10. If you got 32 kids per class, you're going to be 2 or 3 kids over. So they're talking about either splitting the weeks or going to school on the weekend. That's not happening, people. So we got to figure this out because the communities are going to be the hardest hit if this goes down this way. What's up, Bernard Jackson? I see you out there. Paul Forrest, Larry J. Ross, Chris LeBlanc. Thank you for your service. I'm wondering if you're in the States, if you're in the chat, let me know. Chris LeBlanc in the Navy. Thank you for listening. Texas. The funeral service for George Floyd took place today. For those who have been living under a freaking rock, George Floyd's death sparked protests worldwide and was held at the Fountain of Church in Texas this morning. Now, I just want to get something straight. I've seen a lot of people on Facebook complaining and talking about the funeral today, and they were saying, oh, look at all the people they had there. Oh, well, my grandmother died. We could only have 10 people, and oh, this and that. Look, listen up, people. The funeral took place in Texas, and if you remember correctly, Texas locked everything down in March. In March, they had closed their borders. They weren't even letting people into Texas. All right? They reopened Texas on May 1st. May 1st, they reopened the state of Texas entirely with certain restrictions. So the church was allowed to have people there. Someone had said the churches could only be at 50%, but I found out that in Texas, the churches were allowed, everything was allowed to reopen as of May 1st. So that's why all those people, and then I heard somebody saying, why does George Floyd get a horse and carriage? Why is this and why is that? Why? Because people who showed up at that memorial service, like Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart, Ludacris, and several other celebrities who are touched by this story, they paid for everything involving the funeral costs and the travel for the families. So if the man gets a white horse-drawn carriage, he gets a white horse-drawn carriage. It's no different than people going on GoFund and asking for money for their funerals. It's no different. It's no different. This story ripped the heart out of a lot of people, and a lot of people are giving back. A lot of white people gave money too to the cause. That was their way of giving back. That was their way of making up for it. And I love it. So, I mean, we really shouldn't be knocking what a man gets. I see a lot of people bringing up his past. He had a past. They talked about it in the funeral. His own brother said that he was always mad at him because he got himself into stupid situations. But at the end of the day, when Derek Chauvin put his knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, he was innocent till proven guilty. All the stuff that he had did before that, he served time for. And again, systematic oppression. Yeah, he served time, 10 months here, 11 months here, but we don't know if this brother was railroaded in the system. We've seen it time and time again, where brothers go to jail for a little, for a little infraction, but they, the prosecutor or somebody, they tell them, oh, cut the deal. We're going to do this. And they cut this deal that really doesn't work out for them. They make it seem like it's better for them. They take a deal. They do a little stint for 10 months thinking that that's okay, when all you've really done is help the prosecutor out. Or your defense, you know what I'm saying? So let's be real here. Let's be real here. I see a ton of people in the chat. Yes, people did have an issue with the, and yes, Paul Forrest, yeah, people were complaining. People were complaining. They're lucky they didn't go after the city of Minneapolis for this. You know what I'm saying? All right, Legal Booth. Legal Booth, I got to get into a topic with Live PD. If you're a fan of the Live PD show, the show has popped up in the news most recently. And what has happened here with Live PD is that back in March of 2019, Live PD was actually in Texas. They were filming live. If you don't know what Live PD is, it's like Cops, but the show is broadcasting live. As you watch it, it's happening. So this was in Texas. It was on A&E, and the officer who was driving down the road, he was a deputy. It was actually a Williams County Sheriff deputy. He was driving, and he saw Javier Ambler III driving towards him while they were recording the TV show live, while they're broadcasting live. He had his high beams on. So I don't know. I guess in Texas, it's illegal to drive with your high beams on. He might have had LEDs or something. These new LEDs are bright, but they come stock in the cars. I don't know. But at that point, the deputy turned his car around. They turned the lights on. For some reason, Javier Ambler fled. They chased him. He crashed the car. After he crashed the car, they pulled him out. They was roughing him up. And he informed the police officers and the camera crew that was there that he suffers from congestive heart failure, which went ignored. They thought he was fighting being restrained, so they tased him. Not only did they tase him one time, but after he told them that he had congestive heart failure, they tased him 4 times. After tasing him 4 times, his body ended up going limp after they put the cuffs on him, and he was unresponsive, all under the cameras of Live PD. Now, the reason why this is funny is because about 3 days ago, A&E had announced that Live PD was going to stop live broadcasting for a little while in honor of George Floyd's death and the protests and Black Lives Matter. Now, after this story coming out today, because what has happened is there's been such an outcry for this incident that they've now opened an investigation, and I'm sure the cameramen for Live PD will be involved because they recorded the whole thing. I'm sure that the recording of this will be considered evidence. So now there's an investigation that's began on this case. So keep your eyes on this one, people, because Live PD, it says that they're not going to be back for about a week or so. Let's see what happens, because if this is the real reason why, we may not see Live PD back for a while. I know a lot of people were talking about that, so we want to figure that out. Also, coming out of Hollywood, actor Hartley Sawyer was fired from the CW show The Flash. For those who don't know who he is, he's the guy that played Elongated Man, Ralph Dibny, on the show The Flash. Now, I'm going to debate this a little bit. So when he was younger, it was like 2012 and 2010, he put some tweets out there that was misogynist and racist. He talked about being on set and seeing boobs, and he's now been fired for those tweets from back then. Now, if you remember correctly, UPN was the original network, and then it changed to the CW because originally it was UPN. It was all pretty much black programming. They were actually trying to go after BET. UPN was trying to take BET down. They couldn't do it, and the CW, they came in, they changed over to CW, and they started bringing in those DC shows. The first one was actually Smallville, which was a great show, and then it expanded off from Smallville. So their main thing was diversity and respecting minorities. Has always been their number one. But unfortunately, he was fired. I don't agree with people being fired over tweets and things that they say 5, 6, 7 years ago, because people change, people grow, people learn from one another, the things that, you know what I'm saying? So there's got to be kind of a time frame. Well, we got to look at it. Now, if he was burning flags and burning down churches back in 2012, then maybe I would say, okay, we got to really look at that. But this was just a dumb tweet. And sometimes people put tweets out there and they don't even realize it's racist. But he's been fired. He's been fired. And not only has he been fired, the head of CrossFit lost his contract with Reebok. It's kind of sketchy. He put a tweet out there that had said that racism is a public health issue. And then he said, #Floyd19. Now, you could take that any way, but a lot of people took that as being racist. So Reebok has come down and they've eliminated CrossFit from their, they've just canceled their contract. They were supposed to renew a contract, but they've now canceled the contract. There's no new contract. And this is another one that I'm debating on. I feel like he was making kind of a point because they had talked about how COVID-19 was affecting the black communities and how the hospital treatment was different from where other people was getting treatment from. So one could say maybe he was talking in a positive way about black people. It wasn't necessarily racist. He was bringing a good point up. But Reebok said, no, they canceled them with a quickness. And talking about cancellations, rapper turned radio host turned reality TV star Trina, she got blasted for some stuff she said about black people on Friday last week, and she had to issue an apology. And I'm actually going to have her apology coming up in our little segment called The Apology Podium. I know you guys are familiar with The Apology Podium. She's coming up in the Apology Podium. You're going to hear Trina's apologies for calling people animals, and it was some other word she used, but people wanted to cancel her. Black people lost their minds. But to be honest, there was a lot of black people who were saying that these people out here who were looting and vandalizing were animals. A lot of people kind of agreed with that. I was one of the people that was mad at people who burnt down the Dunkin' Donuts and things like that. What's up, Mitchell? I see. Let me see. I'm rambling on. I'm not paying attention to the chat, and I'm real sorry. Lisa Anzanowski, what's going on? My son Terrell, he said entitlement. Paul Forrest isn't happy about Live PD going away. Tyler Zanowski, what's going on, Tyler Zanowski? I see you in here. Mitchell McKinnon, what's going on? Vienna Marie agreed. She said she doesn't think he should have issued an apology. I don't think CrossFit guy was speaking out of turn. She said people get confused. Looting and vandalism, I say the same thing. Counterproductive. Also, I got to talk about out of Florida. There's 48 hours left to promote Black Sands entertainment comic book Macchiato. It is a story about 5 strangers who were suddenly drafted to become superheroes in another planet's war. However, as time goes on, these strangers realize that they have much more in common than they thought, and more importantly, they may not be the heroes that they thought they were. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because the Kickstarter is up. It ends in 48 hours. They need just a few more dollars, and a lot of people were talking about one of the ways that people could help during this time of George Floyd and during this time of situation. You can help by supporting black businesses. And this Black Sands entertainment comic book, believe it or not, is the first minority, and if I'm going to try to get these people on the show, but it's the first minority-owned and also minority artists, and they have an anime cartoon on DVD that's out there. So it's the first fully minority-owned and drawn animated comic book and cartoon. I saw the clips. They actually have a Facebook page. So if you want to go, if you're a big fan of anime like I am and my boys are, go check out Black Sands Entertainment. The cartoon that they have on there is The Sons of Nubi. I think it's something Nubi, which is short for Nubian. If you want to check it out, check it out. But again, they do have a Kickstarter up to get this comic book up and going. Even $5 help, $10 help. So if you can, jump out there, get on it. We're here to support that event. Sports booth. Former New England Patriots wide receiver Richard Caldwell was killed in an alleged robbery outside his home in Tampa Bay, Florida. It sucks because this gentleman was going back to he was out on a date, and he was going back to his house to get his jacket. And when he went to the house to get the jacket, that's when they ambushed him. I think they said three men with guns ambushed him, shot him outside. The ambulance had come. He died en route to the hospital. Rest in peace to former Patriot Richard Caldwell. And I just get tired of the Patriots having tragedy. It's like they got a curse or something. I don't know. Do this many teams in the NFL have this much tragedy against them? It's just craziness. As you guys saw, an elite group of NFL players put together a powerful message in the form of Black Lives Matter PSA. I played it before this show. To be honest, I may play that PSA again after the show because it's so powerful, and so many players, top tier players, stood up and gave their word. And it's funny because after this PSA was released by Black Lives Matter, I want to say within 48 hours, might even been 24 hours. Within 24 hours, it might have been this release of this video. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell came out and he apologized. He apologized for not recognizing, for the NFL as a whole, for not recognizing the silent protests across the NFL for the past 2 years. Now, for those who've been also living under the rock, there was an NFL official who had come out. He was the former head of PR. He had said that the NFL had actually definitely blackballed Colin Kaepernick. So for all of us out here who were saying he was a mediocre, because I was one of them, I was saying he was a mediocre quarterback. He really didn't deserve the shot to be a starter, blah, blah, blah. I said some of that played into it, but there is now proof that the certain owners did blackball Colin Kaepernick. Now, I'm going to ask you guys in the chat, if you had to guess, and I'm going to put it out there, this is a little thing to think about. If you had to think of which owners in the NFL, and one of them pops to my mind like right away, if you had to think about one owner, two owners, three owners who were against blackballing him or for blackballing him, drop it in the chat. I got to see, because I'm telling you mine's right now. I'm pretty sure a lot of people, I feel like Jerry Jones is the first guy that would blackball Colin Kaepernick. Look, people may get mad at me for calling it out like that, but I think Jerry Jones is probably up on the high spectrum of guys who wanted to see Colin Kaepernick blackballed. And I'll tell you right now, I'd say Robert Kraft is at the lowest. I would say Robert Kraft is at the bottom of that list of owners to blackball, because the Patriots have brought in a lot of people, a lot of questionable people, a lot of people that people question them bringing in. And that's because Kraft takes chances on people. Kraft gives people a second chance. So I feel like Kraft is at the bottom of that spectrum, and I think Jerry Jones is at the top. So if you guys, I want to see, yep, Viana Marie says Kraft, Jerry Jones. So Viana Marie, you didn't say if you think Kraft is not one who would blackball him. Jerry Jones, Paul Forrest Green. If you guys are in there, drop in the chat. I got to see about this. So what we're gonna do here, before we get into the Trump troubles, booth people, this is my little skit, my little segment. And she says Kraft is at the top, which is why. No, actually, when he was having his workout, that they set up, there were 3 teams that his agents and lawyers had contacted about playing for. And out of those 3 teams, one of the teams was the Patriots. So the Patriots were ready to bring him in if he had did that NFL camp. So it didn't happen. We all know what happened. He didn't do the camp. He backed down, and then he held his own camp at a high school. So I'm going to get in Rick Shaw. How's it going, Rick Shaw? Nice to see you joining the show. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to get into our segment, the Apology Podium. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Apology Podium before, but what this is whenever somebody does something, we let them pull out the Apology Podium and say what they have to say. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's our segment, the Apology Podium.
I know there's not much that I can say that would make things any better right now, but I just want you to see in my eyes how sorry I am for the comments that I made yesterday. I know that it hurt many people, especially friends, teammates, former teammates, loved ones, people that I care and respect deeply. That was never my intention. I wish I would have laid out what was on my heart in regards to the George Floyd murder, Ahmaud Arbery, the years and years of social injustice, police brutality, and the need for so much reform and change in regards to legislation and so many other things to bring equality to our black communities. I am sorry, and I will do better, and I will be part of the solution, and I am your ally. And I know no words will do that justice.
It has been a difficult time for our country, in particular, black people in our country. First, my condolences to the families of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and all the families who have endured police brutality. We, the National Football League, condemn racism and the systematic oppression of black people. We, the National Football League, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest. We, the National Football League, believe Black Lives Matter. I personally protest with you and want to be part of the much-needed change in this country. Without black players, there would be no National Football League. And the protests around the country are emblematic of the centuries of silence, inequality, and oppression of black players, coaches, fans, and staff. We are listening. I am listening. And I will be reaching out to players who have raised their voices and others on how we can improve and go forward for a better and more united NFL family.
Me in my trainers where I'm automatically speaking for black people. I am the black people. Right. I am black people. That's what I'm speaking for. And I'm not going to say black people are animals. I'm not, but I didn't say that, hey, my black people, or all of my people. I'm not talking to you, not the protests, not those that are trying to make change. And this is why the day after when we spoke to the commissioner, I said to Trick, well, I learned a lot more about what's really happening and what, you know, because I'm trying to understand what's the solution. What is the answer to everything that's happening? And it's more than just in the streets or people, you know, doing whatever. It's the commissioners, it's the governors, it's the mayors, all these people, it's the chief of police. I had no idea of that. So now I'm understanding that, and these are the people that has to protect the cities. And so now these are the people that you go and you want to talk to. You want answers from. You want all this. You want change. This is can build up to try to make it look better. So that's just where I was speaking from. Not a store, not nothing. Nobody's fancy car. None of that. I don't care about that. I'm just speaking from where I felt that, you know, things that I saw. I'm not calling nobody's color or anything. The gap was, I didn't say, you know, black people, my people, and I would never say that or call black people animals or any name. Like, I am a black person, I must be an animal, I must be this same person. I mean, that's not who I am.
Right. A real Trina friend, fan, or somebody that really know her can't forgive her. I get where you were coming from with the riot.
Well, Trina, we love you, and, you know, like I said, the people that know You were not directing animals towards anybody or race. It doesn't matter, color, whatever. We know who you were talking about directly, the people destroying the community. So the people that know you truly know that. The people that love you are going to truly love you and know that for you to get on here and even apologize about that, that's big. So, we love you. Rock stars, orange hearts, all that emoji stuff.
Thank you.
All right. We got more of the Trick or Treat Morning Show coming up right here on 99 Jam.
All right, that was the apology podium. Apology podium. And good stuff there. Got to get into our Trump troubles. If you guys like that segment, the apology podium, usually you guys just hear the audio, but like I said, we're taking this show, The Booth, to where we have wanted it to go for the longest time. And it was just a matter of me getting my ass in gear and getting my tower, just simple as that, just getting my tower updated to the way that I wanted it to be so I could provide what I wanted to do. And the reason why is because I see a lot of people out there doing some great podcasting right now. Leroy Irvin doing a great podcast out there. A lot of people doing some good podcasts out there, getting acknowledgement and stuff. But the thing is I've been podcasting before it was even called podcasting. I was doing the first set of podcasting since in 2003. I was showing up to events with my recording stuff, my webcam and things like that. People like, who the hell is this guy? What the hell is this thing? I remember going to Bellator down in Connecticut to cover a Bellator event, and all these reporters from all these mainstream media outlets were there. I come up, I sit down with the owner of Bellator, Bjorn Rebney, sit down with him, set up my webcam. I go live on Facebook with Bjorn Rebney. And at that time, it wasn't really live. You could actually record it and then put the show up, put the video up afterwards. But people were like, what is this guy doing? And people were laughing at it and stuff. Now it's a big deal. Podcasting is where it's going to be. And now that I'm doing this the way that I want to do it, I want to set that bar. I'm going to take that bar and let people know that I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not just stepping into this game. I'm not just stepping into this podcasting game. We've been here. So I just want to let you all know this is where it's at right now. So I want to make sure everybody will tune in. I want everybody to tell everybody, damn, have you seen The Booth? No, I didn't listen to it. Oh, when they tell you I didn't listen to The Booth, you guys say, no. We ain't talking about listening. You watching The Booth now. You're watching The Booth now. We got segments coming at you. I'm going to have all types of stuff coming at you. You ain't going to believe this. Shout out to Maddie C, Sports for You and Me. Shout out to Travis Partington, who he took his show way up here after me helping him out. Good stuff. So we got about, let's see where we're at here for time. We're at actually 7:50, 10 minutes left. I got to get into Trump's trouble booth. And then when we get out of here, I'm going to play my outro. And then I think, like I said, I'm going to play that NFL Black Lives Matter PSA. For those who missed it, I'm actually going to play to be honest, I'm actually going to play the NFL PSA before the show's outro, because I really want people to see it. I really want people to feel this NFL Black Lives Matter PSA. I really want to say this. Terrell Hayes, my son, is in the chat. Hardcore. My son making me proud. He said, not when it's majority outsides and undercover cops inciting the violence or even police making protests violent. You can't poke an angry crowd. True. And that's been going on across the country. They've had police who've incited these incidents. You've got up in Buffalo. Right up in Buffalo. They shoved a 77-year-old man, busted his ear open on the concrete. And then they tried to lie and say he tripped. He didn't trip. They pulled the cameras and found that he was shoved. The old man was shoved down. Could have died in Buffalo. So now those two officers are being charged, and their buddy cops have now took themselves out of the special unit. You have an issue going on right now in Louisville, Kentucky, where someone was shot, and every last police officer's body camera was off. Their body cameras were off. Every last officer on the scene. Police chief was fired. Fired. Because he's at the top of the food chain. He has to answer for that. Fired. That's why when we get into Trump troubles right here, we're talking about this police reform bill that the House Democrats were unveiled. It's a major, major reform bill. And there's going to be a lot of changes to the way police do things. And look, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer were there. I wasn't real happy about that, but the people that were there, the minority leaders who were there, they said that Chuck and Nancy have been doing stuff for the black community for a long time. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I know, because I don't know. I would have to go and look at their voting records, which is public, and see how they voted for certain things that help or doesn't help the black community. So I would have to go and check and fact check that and see exactly where they voted. One of the reasons people are upset was because they wore the kente. And people said that they were pandering for a photo op. I believe the photo ops were in play, but Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer didn't get the kintes themselves. Those kintes were actually given to them by the minority leaders to show that they were unified with them for that moment. It was a very emotional moment. It was a very powerful moment. Police reform is needed across the board, across the country. And while we're on the topic of police reform, before we move along, there's a lot of things here, people, that a lot of people don't realize with police reform. And it goes a lot deeper than people really kind of realize. There are a lot of things going on in police departments across America that a lot of people were unaware of. So many few years ago, a lot of veterans weren't getting jobs. A lot of guys that were coming back from Afghanistan or tours overseas, they weren't getting jobs. Military guys were not getting picked to get on police departments. And what ended up happening is that the government created a kickback for anyone who hired veterans. If you hired a veteran, you got a kickback. So what happened across a lot of these police departments across the country is they brought veterans in. And I'm not beating up on veterans, but we do know that we have a serious issue with PTSD in the veteran community. Oscar Mike Radio, he's talked about it. I actually had someone inbox me many years ago when the gentleman was shot down in New Orleans, and I was told that the officer who shot him suffered from PTSD, and he kind of went back to a moment and he had a situation. And this is why some of these things can happen. Another reason why we have these things happen is because a lot of police departments across America, when you got these veterans on your police force, a lot of police departments started using and utilizing the same type of tactics that military uses to detain and hold people overseas. Now, putting your knee on someone's neck, if you're over in Afghanistan and you're outnumbered 500 to 1 in a country that you have no idea where you are, you're the enemy automatically off the bat. So some of these military tactics that they're using in city policing, it's not happening no more. It's not happening more, and that's a lot of that is part of this reform bill. The choke holding. One of the things in the reform bill is that you can't restrain or choke hold a pregnant woman anymore. There's a lot of this. So if you want to read up on it, the police reform bill, there is a lot of things in there that's going to change. They want to start holding police officers accountable. They want police officers who are dirty, like a Derek Chauvin, who had like 19 cases against him of police brutality. They want that public record. They want these guys to be held accountable. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to watch out for that. The George Floyd funeral today was great. I watched it. It was funny. I made a joke about the fact that it's black church, and they even had to explain black church to a lot of people, because if you tuned in to watch the George Floyd funeral, you were probably like, what is this? Because this ain't like Catholic church. Black church is entirely different. What I was upset at with George Floyd's funeral service is that they threw up a Joe Biden PSA during the George Floyd funeral, where he come on and talked about Black Lives Matter and this and that. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of toned it out. And you want to know why I kind of toned it out? Because I felt like George Floyd's funeral in Texas was not the place for Joe Biden PSA. And I get it. You got your Democrats were all there in the House. Your congressmen were there. Reverend Al Sharpton was there. I get it. But I don't think that was the place for Joe Biden to pop up on screen with a video PSA for George Floyd. No, I don't agree with it. I think it was low. I think it was wrong. I think, again, you are utilizing the death of a black man to promote a cause. I get it. You want to pander to the black people and get us out to vote because we don't vote. I get it. But I'll tell you right now, I vote. And to be honest, if Donald Trump wasn't as bad as he was, I might be switching that other way because I wasn't happy at that being done at all. So I'm expecting a lot of people to come out and say something about this because I'm not happy with it. And speaking of people taking the heat, so last week, President Donald Trump, went and had his photo op with a Bible at a church in Washington, D.C. at Lafayette Place. And what he did was he had them fire tear gas into the protesters, which people are claiming were doing this and doing that. And yes, the church was vandalized days before, but it wasn't those people. You can't put that on the people who were there on that day. So the big debate has been this photo op. And people keep saying, well, it's just a photo op. Clinton did a photo op with a Bible. People are talking about the photo op from yesterday in Washington with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi kneeling down. People are like, oh, it's okay. It's not okay for President Trump to take a picture with a Bible, but it's okay for Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to take. Look, there's a big effing difference here, people. A big effing difference. When Clinton held the Bible, he didn't gas anybody to go take this picture with his own Bible. Yesterday, when Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer took a knee to support George Floyd and change, they didn't gas anybody in Washington. This is the problem, people. The problem isn't the photo op. The problem isn't Donald Trump sitting there with his Bible in hand and taking a photo op. The problem is that he had troops, tear gas Americans. And the problem with that is, and if people don't see it, look at what's going on right now. We talked about this on this show from the day one when the mother of all bombs, the MOAB, was set off. And we seen it. We seen what happened between President Trump and the military. Pay attention, people. The election is coming up in November. Right now, your military and your president aren't on the same page, number one. They ain't on the same page. Number two, Esper was about to step down from Secretary of Defense. But Kaylee, the PR person, they talked him out of stepping down, and he stayed. But what did Esper do? What did Mark Esper do the next day? He took that troop of soldiers from the 82nd Airborne, got them out of Washington, sent them back home to Fort Bragg. Pissing Donald Trump off to the point where they said he's ready to fire Esper, which would be another Trump guy put into place that he fired. But for those who are keeping tally, the amount of high-ranking generals and officials who've come out to speak against what Donald Trump did to those protesters and said it was wrong, you have an admiral, you have Colin Powell, you have Willis, you have a letter that went out. You had a letter that went out with 89 signatures of high-ranking officials from the military in the U.S. Pentagon condemning what our president did. Not only did they condemn it, you had 8 high-ranking military officials on TV this past weekend, Meet the Press, CNBC, all of them condemning what President Trump did. Now, people say, oh, we've had people be critical of our president. No, you haven't. You haven't had 89 high-ranking military officials come out with any president, whether you agreed or disagreed with Obama, whether you agreed or disagreed with President Bush, whether you agreed or disagreed with Ronald Reagan, whether you agreed or disagreed with President Carter. No military has ever come out in these numbers to condemn the action of something that a president did. The military always respects their commander-in-chief. They'll say what they got to say behind closed doors, but never, ever in the public eye as this. So I'm telling people right now, pay attention. The election is coming up in November, and you need to pay attention. Because if your military isn't on the same page as your president, there's a deeper issue going on here. There's a deeper issue going on here, and we need to pay attention, which is why I'm probably going to play the voting rap. My vote don't count. So my black people out there who are watching, they get it. So I may even play that before we head out of here. I mean, y'all got me fired up now. You got me. Terrell Hayes is in the chat. He said, Clinton didn't hold his Bible upside down. What's up, David Sullivan? Sully, my where you at, David? Oh, you scroll down. David Sullivan, Sully, season ticket holder for the Patriots. A lot of games with this man. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I'm going to say my event reminders coming up, but I'm just going to remind you people, vote. And you're about to see this music video. If you haven't seen the video at the beginning of this show, if you didn't see this video at the beginning of the show, the rapper's name is YelloPain's. The video is called My Vote Don't Count. So what I'm probably going to do here is I'm going to do the NFL Black Lives Matter. I'm going to do that PSA first. Then I'm going to do the video, and then I'm going to do the show's outro. So, and SpongeBob will take us home as usual. But you want to hang on for the outro, because there's a lot of stuff that I produce. I was up till 1:30 in the morning last night producing stuff, new stuff for this show. The templates, putting the templates together so I can do this a lot easier. So before we get out of here, again, be safe, everyone. Be safe. Be safe, first and foremost. Everything is starting to open back up. Restaurants are allowing some sidewalk eating, some parking lot eating. If you get a chance, go out, support your businesses that have opened up, and grab a bite to eat. I can't wait till they announce JJ's is doing some parking lot. Look, JJ's Cafe, right here. Look, right here. Look at me. If you need help setting up tables and chairs in your parking lot so we can eat and I can get my hash bombs, look, JJ's Cafe, I'm right here. I'm family. I'm family. Come get me. I'll set tables up in the parking lot for you. I'll sweep the parking lot for you. If we can eat outside at JJ's Cafe, I'm there. I am there. That's where I'm going to be. So, also, when you get a chance, check out Matty C, Sports for You and Me. His podcast is available on iTunes. Big shout out to BMG Boys, Bobby Streets, Sinbad One Life, a.k.a. the BMG Boys Supreme Entertainment, for hooking them up with their single, No Mercy, which you hear during the intro and the outro of his show. Also, you see her in the chat, people. You see Viana Marie. She just released a new EP. Well, it's actually an EP of older music, All the Masquerade. It's available now on iTunes and all of the social media outlets. But the other reason why you got to go visit Viana Marie, www.vianamarie.com, is because Viana Marie now has a ton of merchandise. Viana Marie has taken this time. She's gotten a degree in cricket. she's printing vinyls and things like that and getting stuff done down at the BMG studios. Making t-shirts. She's making I thought they were last week. I actually held one up. I thought it was a Henny glass. But it's not. It was a makeup glass. It was a glass to hold your brushes in. So want to check that. Also check out Maeve's Closet, which is Viana Marie's thing that she does with a bestie, Mary Malice. Maeve's Closet. It's some clothing that they sell, high-end clothing, Fashion Nova, stuff like that. Check them out. And she's got a new project she's working on. It's going to be out real soon. So keep an eye out. This Saturday, she's locking down the live stream performance. You want to make sure to check out that. Other than that, I hope you guys, Paul Forrest, he agrees with me. He said, I got a table and chair in my trunk for JJ's. He's rolling up. Paul Forrest, I'm driving up. I'm going to pull in a spot, get out, open my trunk, get my chair, my table out, set it up. Give me a menu. Come on. Give me a menu. I'm ready. I'll bring a look. It's still social distancing. It's still being cautious. Look, I will go to Dollar Tree and buy paper plates and plastic fork and knives for JJ's. I'm serious. You tell me you're gonna open up the parking lot, I will be there. I will be there. Right, and I know my boys will be right there with. So I got to thank everybody for tuning in the show tonight. Once again, I couldn't do this show without any of you guys. Much love in the chat tonight. Consistent numbers. All I got to say is, people, discuss intelligently. I love talking with people on Facebook. I love kind of debating with people over things and try to teach them things. Sometimes I get accused of being a know-it-all. Trust me, I'm not a know-it-all. What I am is I'm a guy that I've done a lot of radio shows. I've done a lot of stuff. I do a lot of fact checking and backing my stuff up. But one of the things I've learned is if I don't know something, if I don't know about something, or if I'm not educated on something, I do not talk about it. So when people say you're a know-it-all, I'm not really a know-it-all. I just keep my mouth shut if I don't know nothing, because I want to learn. I want to open my mind and learn what I don't know. That way, when I do learn it and I do know it, I'm going to debate you to the death over what I feel is right, because I know I got my education and did my homework on that discussion or that topic at hand. So a lot of people will come back and be like, Paul Forrest will tell you. Paul Forrest has seen it. Paul Forrest has stuck up for me many times, so I got to tell him that's what I do. I try to stay consistent. I try to keep it real with everybody. And like I said, I'm not a know-it-all. I don't know it all. I don't know it all at all. Trust me. I just talk about what I know. And like I said, if I don't know about it, I keep my mouth shut and I listen, I pay attention, and I watch. Just like I said tonight with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. I was upset that they sat down with those Kente, but somebody said, those majority leaders said that they've been there helping out this community for a while. And trust me, I'm going to go check. I'm going to check their voting records. And if I find out if the voting records, if they have been voting consistently to help our communities, when somebody like a Skip Clay or somebody comes after me on this show, trust me, I'm coming with it. So I got to thank you guys about this show. My dad's in the chat about to make me cry. Well taught, he says. That's my dad, William Hayes, in the chat. He says, well taught. Thank you, Dad, because I wouldn't be the man I was today if it wasn't for you. So what I'm going to do here, people, I'm going to get into this Black Lives Matter PSA, and then I'm going to play the video from YelloPain's, and then SpongeBob is going to take us out. So with me, here it is, the NFL Black Lives Matter PSA. Then we've got YelloPain's My Vote Don't Count, and then we got SpongeBob taking us home.
It's been 10 days since George Floyd was brutally murdered.
How many times do we need to ask you to listen to your players?
What will it take for one of us to be murdered by police brutality?
What if I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd?
What if I was George Floyd?
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 I am George Floyd.
I am Breonna Taylor.
I am Ahmaud Arbery.
I am Eric Garner.
I am Tamir Rice.
I am Trayvon Martin.
I am Walter Scott.
I am Michael Brown Jr.
I am Samuel Du Bois.
I am Frank Smart. I'm Philip White. I am Jordan Baker.
We will not be silenced.
We assert our rights to peacefully protest. It shouldn't take this long to admit. So, on behalf of the National Football League,
This is what we, the players, would like to hear you state.
We, the National Football League,
Condemn racism and the systematic oppression of black people.
we, the National Football League,
Admit wrong and silencing our players from peacefully protesting.
we, the National Football League,
Believe Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Enough electoral votes, more than 270, more than enough to become the 44th President of the United States. He will be the first African-American President of the United States.
I've been broke all my life, but I kept hope all them nights. You see business in my city? Yeah, they closed down them twice. I was just riding down Salem on them damn potholes. I can't drive. I know y'all can fix it faster, but I know y'all won't try. Nobody care about us, and that's wrong vote. Voted for Obama back in 2012. I remember that's when I had hope. He was saying, yes, we can. And everybody got less food stamps. When I turned 21, I was still broke. I'd never vote again. I don't think I ever had a president make my life better. Did it all on my own. Ain't no politician ever do a nice gesture. I don't even know the man's name. I ain't never seen her one time ever. Tell me how she gonna help the city. What I'm supposed to do, write letters? What I'm supposed to do, blame Trump? He ain't never really gave up. Ain't nobody raised minimum wage. None of these jobs pay enough. I think they just wanna keep us broke, cause they ain't putting nothing in place for us. This how all my people feel, but we gotta learn. We complain enough. Let me change it up. Everything I just said, everybody I know think the same way. See, they don't wanna see us vote, and we never do, so we see the same thing. But all our votes really do count, and they'll never really let it show. So now I'm finna break it down, cause if I don't, you will probably never know. First thing first, you know back in middle school when they taught us, it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor, or the governor, and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws, they just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station try to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch, yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones write how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all. So the Congress or the State House, that's legislative, they make laws. So what we want from the president is what they do. Okay, y'all? See, they election every 2 years, but we don't ever even go to those. The Congress, they can raise minimum wage, but we ain't even really know it though. So you know how back in 08, when we all voted for Obama, we was all supposed to go back in 2010 and vote for the Congress. Cause they the ones make child support laws. They the ones choose if your kids at school get to eat steak or corn dogs. The State House make the court calls. So if the country failed, then you can't say it's them, it's your fault. Cause y'all ain't know to vote for Congress members that was for y'all. And they don't gotta leave after 4 years, we just let them sit. See, they don't wanna tell you this, they want you to focus on the president. Now the 3rd branch is the judicial, that's justice. They the reason why John Crawford and Trayvon ain't had justice. So when Meek Mill got locked up just for popping willies, we blame the judge and not the city when they let her get voted in. Cause they ain't know who to vote against. Imagine life on the other side. Roads better, schools better, everybody get their license back. Grocery store food better, custody of your kids back. Homeless people get new shelters. If we gon' fix the U.S., we gotta start with them 2 letters. Me and you. Somebody told us that the government wanna keep us broke, but the only reason why those people in the government is cause we ain't vote. And I ain't talking about the president, I'm talking about the ones we ain't know. See, they was gonna try to keep it low, but it's gonna hurt them when they see the polls.
Every time you stay home, someone is making a decision about you. Making decisions about the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food your kids eat, and how much money you bring home every 2 weeks. So every time you sit out an election, every time you don't show up because you think it doesn't matter, someone else is happy that you didn't show up, so they can make that decision for you. Vote.
Well, see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Booth on Hoopazoo and HatcherRadio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinister One production hosted by Sinister One.
I gotta start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, yeah. Maybe a little more down here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine with your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I make this no repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, but y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak assholes who think I ain't playing. Trying, I'll probably handle black because I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip. I don't need that shit, bitch, I got my own now. I ain't home, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, it's on everything. I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO, that's Twitter.com.
Hit your website, hit your website, hit your website, hit your website.